Saudis used American equipment of all kinds to try to do precisely that, is to stop the Houthis and to remove their military capability. They failed. Now, would we be more successful? Probably not. What we need to do here is to be there, to do what we can do, and it's difficult because of the asymmetry between the cost of the missiles that we're using to defend and the drones that are being used by the Houthis. The real issue here is Iran. All of this goes back to Iran. And clearly the Houthis are supported by Iran. Those missiles are Iranian missiles. The drones are Iranian drones. And the issue of Iran remains front and center in most of the issues. Certainly the Hamas, that's Iran. Further north in the Lebanon area, that's Iran. Syria, that's Iran. The current attacks that are going on against the American military in Iraq, that's Iran. So we must recognize, and we do, that Iran is the central cause of most of the disruption that occurs in this region. How to deal with Iran? We were on a path during the pre-Trump administration, the Obama administration, to rein in Iran on their nuclear and other activities. Unfortunately, Trump terminated that, turned Iran loose to pursue its nuclear ambitions and simultaneously to continue to pursue its ambitions to dominate the Middle East. So this is a very difficult but a very, very important one. The show of force by multiple countries is extremely important. Will it stop it? Well, let's hope it does, because the alternatives are just not good. The alternatives being perhaps trying to attack the Houthis. I suspect that will ultimately be unsuccessful. The negotiations between Saudi Arabia and Iran are on a hold because of the Hamas attack on Israel and then Israel's attack into Gaza. But those may be able to bear fruit in the days and months ahead. Hopefully it will.
Congressman, finally, I want to return to another issue that has been in the headlines. It refers to someone you were actually just alluding to there, speaking of the Trump administration, the former president. The Supreme Court in the state of Colorado, of course, ruled earlier this week that he is ineligible to be president again because of his actions on January 6th, when in what they say was inciting an insurrection. He would be removed from the ballot if this holds. Now you have the lieutenant governor in your state requesting that the state look into every legal option to do the same. Is this appropriate in your mind, or is the issue of whether or not Trump should serve again one that should be left to voters, not the courts?
I think every state in this nation should pursue this. However, and this is a big however, I believe the Supreme Court will overrule these individual state actions and allow Trump to stay on the ballot. Two good things if this were to happen. First of all, multiple states would take up the issue of the insurrection that Trump created and hold him accountable state by state. That would be good for the American public to know this is not just a Washington thing. This is something that states across this nation are observed and are taking action on. Ultimately, I believe that Trump should be given the chance to be on the ballot, and I suspect the Supreme Court will so rule. Were that not to happen, I believe we'd have a very serious, very, very serious political crisis in the United States if, in fact, Trump were not allowed to be on the presidential, on the ballots in November. Between now and November, let the states act. Let them go through the process, as did Colorado, and put the proof on the table, which Colorado did. And I believe other states should do that. Ultimately, I think the Supreme Court will say, no, that can't happen that way. Trump will be on the ballot. And he should be defeated for multiple reasons. He is a direct threat to our democracy. He's already talking about being a dictator. Oh, for only one day. Well, that would be the first dictator ever that was there for only one day. But this is a very serious threat to our democracy in multiple ways, and this is complex, as I've described it. But I think ultimately,
Indeed,
the states should take it up. They should come to a conclusion, and then ultimately the Supreme Court should take it and allow Trump to go on the ballot in November.